Hi there, folks. Simon here with another 7x7 Chandrian Tak Invitational Tournament match, this time between alion02 and gowellja. Each of these players has already played at least one game in this tournament so far, and I think we're going to see some really fun stuff here from the two of them. I think they've both played two games, actually, and they've 1-1 so far for each of them. And alion02 currently ranked number 14 on playtak, and gowellja currently ranked number 2. Really just abusing those bots these past few weeks. And uh, and so here we go. We're going to be watching again. It is 7x7. This is a one-game match, not a two-game match, just one game. And they will be playing with a 15-minute timer on the clock, 20-second increment. That means 20 seconds added to their clock every turn. And also, they do have two capstones, as this is a 7x7 tournament, and 7x7 has two capstones. And that is really what makes this so much different than the rest of the competitive sizes like 6x6, where we see pretty much all competitive tournaments happen on a 6x6 board. That's where the community is right now. But a 7x7 changes things dramatically. That second capstone really changes things tactics, strategy-wise. It's awesome. And then they do have two komi as well. Komi in this case means that 2 gets added to black's flat count score at the end of the game if the game does not end in a road. So that means that if it ends in flats, whether by board fill or someone runs out of flats here and there's no road, then black gets 2 added to their flat count score to see who wins that way. And that's just a little way to even things up between the two colors. So, we'll be jumping in just a moment. As soon as they set up that seek, we will get to going and jump right in to this tournament game. All right, here we go. alion02 versus gowellja. Alion in white, gowellja in black. We see A1 as the first move, and then G7. We're seeing opposite corners here. And then alion02 going straight for that knight's opening instead of taking center control. Interesting, kind of borrowing from gowellja's book there. Gowellja, typically as white, has been playing in the knight's opening, but now goes straight for that center control first instead of playing along in this knight's opening area. Will we see a first capstone here? Will we see? Yes, we will. Pretty solid spot. All right, I like that capstone positioning. I like black's spot right here. I think that they're in a pretty good position, and I think that they've got a lot to work with. I think we're going to see black start to build along this horizontal direction and keep going that way. White will likely be building along horizontally as well, and then come over with E3 onto F3 when that threat is made. Oh, no, instead dropping a capstone here right along the line of black. I think that's a good play. That's a good play here. Black now switching gears, going for the vertical along this area, and that's to do two things, to cut off white's horizontal path, but also to build towards this vertical threat. All right, those early capstones are pretty integral. As we do know from 6x6, you got to play that capstone pretty early as well. Ooh, that capstone surprises me quite a bit. Though I do see the point trying to cut off that horizontal threat. Doesn't quite do it because this capstone is here ready to come down with that B6 flat to make that threat on the next couple turns. Now this is where we're going to see E3 come right onto F3 and really cut off this horizontal threat. It's going to take a while for black to be able to rebuild that road. No, instead bringing the capstone down. That is surprising to me. I'm very surprised by that. I didn't see that one coming. I expected the E3 right, because then white would be able to still build for that horizontal. Black now deciding to build around the threat. White does not want to drop their capstone here. Don't do it. It's a trap. That is not what you want to do there. Not at all. But black does want to build across and make that horizontal threat yet again on the next turn by dropping at D5. White could play at a6 maybe. No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't help. Maybe g6. White does drop the capstone there. I think that's a mistake. Having the capstone so close to your other one, really, it limits your mobility. You're blocking yourself in with your own capstone. Additionally, the other capstone's here. So this capstone is effectively trapped for who knows how long, potentially for a very long time. And I think that is a bit of an error here. Again, I do think this capstone coming down was an error also. I think e3 coming right was the play to make. Despite, I know you don't want to make too many flat-on-flat captures, especially early, but I think that capstone down, I think it would have served better to stay where it was for the time being. But instead we're seeing black build around here at e5 now, making that connection, possibly going for a vertical line above here. White maybe going for the vertical as well, placing here at d3, maybe kind of go for a connection up here. Or perhaps trying to just stop black from going for the vertical in that direction. It's tough to say. Currently it looks like they're mostly building for position right now. I'd say it's tough to say who's in the lead right now. White has a few options. Black has a few options. I think black. I might give it to black right now just because this white capstone here seems so trapped. D2. Okay, white going for that vertical threat. Black moving in that vertical direction as well. Might have liked f2 a little bit more there, but e2 also works. It's tough to say which one is better of those two moves. I think maybe e2 is better. Yeah, e2 is probably better because it can come across and interrupt if they want to do that. White's got longer to go for if they want to make those vertical threats than black does. Yeah, Snaggle in the chat talking about early capstones and sevens being interesting, saying that move 4 is super early. I don't know. I've seen and played move 4 capstones in sixes very often, and I think that's a pretty common thing to do pretty early. You want to get those typically before turn 8 or so to get that early capstone in and have a lot of impact. And so I think an early capstone is always important, but having the second capstone means that you can have an early capstone and then have one a little bit later. Like, I liked white waiting until move 12 or so to bring that second capstone in, but I didn't like the positioning for it. So this is where black makes the threat. So black comes over, that's a tack threat now. White brings that capstone over, interrupts the tack threat. Black cannot renew the threat on this turn, but they can build for it, playing maybe at e7. If they want to continue for that vertical at least. I think there's a lot of potential also for vertical along this line for black. Already got the basis of it. These are here, these are here, this is here. Can go for that vertical in this direction. Gonna have to do something about white's threats on this half of the board first, though. Make sure that they're sufficiently dismantled before switching gears to this side. But once they are dismantled, black's got a head start on this side of the board. The only problem with that is that white's capstones are both basically on this side and can get into that, whereas blacks are going to have a much harder time. This one especially is trapped behind 2 capstones, going to be a lot more difficult to join into the game. Black now coming across first. That is bold, I'd say. That's bold, and I like it. White Potentially going to make a threat here by placing at f2 or at g3. I would not be surprised by either of those moves, as they would be attack threat in the vertical direction here for white. Black not making attack threat, but can make one on the following turn. What is white's response going to be to that? Interestingly enough, they're both pretty even in terms of time on the clock. 16:20 on the clock for alion02 and 16:40 on the clock for gowellja. Both playing fairly quickly here, well below that 20-second increment time. So that's why they're gaining more time on the clock than what they started with. alion02, I think I really like an f2 here. It works for, again, making a threat, but also able to cut off onto e2 to interrupt black's threat once they make that, if they decide to go for an f3 left. I think that g3 of the two placements is the weaker. We're probably going to see an f3 left here, and that'll make attack threat that will... Okay, I guess not. That won't make attack threat. I'm surprised by that. Very surprised by that. Not quite sure why that was made over this one. Maybe because this one leads to a recapture. I don't know. This is... I guess they want to play at f2 next? I think... I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind that move is. White now playing up at c5. Oh, gonna go for the vertical on this side now of black's threat. Black still does have momentum though. Playing here at f2, I'd say, is the move to make. And are we going to see that now? f2 would be attack threat in the vertical direction. White able to cut that off with the capstone to the right. But will they? Okay, they are making the attack threat. Now it's up to white to interrupt that somehow. Does bring that white capstone over, as expected. Will we see black place here at d5? Placing at d5 would continue, not renew the attack threat. Oh yeah, would renew the attack threat. Placing at d5 would renew it. So that would be, I'd say, the move to make. Retain momentum, get more flats on the board, force white to make more captures. Always great to force your opponent to make captures. Because flat on flat captures create liabilities, and capstones capturing just gives them more stones underneath that they'll have to release at some point, or limit their mobility, or force them to drop your own flats around somewhere, giving you more space on the board. I think that in general is a pretty solid idea for this move. Black taking his time here. alion02 just below 16 minutes. Now gowellja down to 15 on the clock. Gowellja's most recent game was yesterday against No Hat Coder, and surprisingly blundered on move 17 and just completely missed a threat and lost there. I expected a much better game, but it's very easy to miss threats on a 7x7, especially if there are two capstones involved in a road, because there is that phenomenon called capstone blindness, where when a capstone is part of a road, sometimes it's easy to miss, And if there's two capstones as part of a road, even easier to miss. So I understand that completely. Black instead dropping a wall at d5, which I don't understand at all, to be honest. I guess that they wanted to avoid black dropping a flat at d5 and then white coming over with c5 to make that tack threat in the vertical direction. I don't think it was that big of a deal, to be honest, that potential threat of c5 right, but apparently he thought so. Now white going to come over here, wants to capture, liberate this captive underneath f4 with the wall to create more tack threats. Now, black won't be able to smash that wall to recover because it would lead to a road here for white unless black does something about it first, like bringing this capstone over or something else. No, decides to bring that up instead. Will white take it with the capstone? I mean, I can't believe they wouldn't do that. It's not like they're pinned or anything. Seems like a solid trade here. Bring this over. I imagine black would either move the capstone over or wall here on f4 to keep this capstone sort of penned in. Because they don't want it spreading downward, again, because of a road threat, but also because of the positive flat count differential move. Positive flat count differential move, again, is explained in the flat count differential, or FCD, video of Tak University. Also, all those capstone principles I was talking about are covered in the capstone video of Tak University as well. Lots of videos on there. However, the openings video of Tak University doesn't include any 7x7 openings. We really don't have too many. All we really know is that typically it's a great idea to place right in that center square and get some center control going early on. And that's basically all we know for openings for sevens so far, or at least that's the current trend. All right, we're seeing instead white fill in at f4. They're filling in first so they can then make that capture and not have to worry about a wall going there. So if they do fill in, then black can take this capstone over to the right. It'll be forced to, basically, in order to stop that, that threat. So I like that. That's a smart play there from white, but now black is able to take that stack away from the capstone, although there's a lot of liabilities here. White definitely wants that stack, wants to liberate those captives and get a little bit more mobility on the board, especially if it's with a capstone, but I don't think they need to at the moment. I think white decided, you know what, I'm just going to place it c3 and start going for this vertical threat again. I don't need to worry about that stack right now. I'm just going to focus on this half of the board, and black's going to have to do something about me on that side. I like it. I like it. White probably wants to play up at b7 next. b7, because then that would be a tack threat by placing here at c6 or capturing over with a5 to b5. And then if black were to, for example, try to stop that by bringing this wall over onto c5, white would probably play here at c6 and go for that smash to make the threat again, something like that. So white playing pretty well here. I would say, I mean, it's still pretty even on the board and still really early. We're still in the early game, coming close to the mid game here, but I'd still say white might have a slight advantage here on the board. Yeah, white might have a slight advantage, partly due to this huge stack here being very dangerous later on down the road, and then due to this white threat. Oh, that was an undo. So black placed a flat here at b3. They meant to place a wall. Okay, and alion02 was gracious enough to grant the undo for the misclick. And then white places a wall at g4, which is... I don't understand. Yeah, not getting it. Not getting it. Ah, okay. So the wall coming, so this wall coming right stops the f4 minus and the vertical threat. So the horizontal and vertical threats are both stopped with this wall, but this wall I don't understand. I'm not quite sure what that's for. Yeah, I'm really not sure about that white wall. I don't know what the point of that one was. Is there something black wanted to do over there? I don't know. I do not know. All right, but we're seeing a6 played for white, making that connection off to this half of the board. Currently no tack threat, but decent positioning. I'd say white is in control of this game, coming further ahead than before. Black is in a pretty tough position right now. Black maybe wants to play something like at g2 maybe, to keep white from smashing c3, I guess. Also, that's tough. I guess they could play at f5 as well. But no, that would give this capstone an excuse to come over onto f5. It's tough. Black's in a really tough position here. They're going to have to do some work to come back into this game. White's got a lot of options right now. And black can't really ignore any of them. So I'd say alion02 is taking a heavy lead right now. But it's still very early, and it is 7-by-7. There's a lot of moves to be played left. Look at the reserve count. I mean, white's running out of reserves a lot quicker. I mean, at least 4 reserves fewer than black has. But if this game is going to get far enough that it comes to flats, black's going to have to do some work. Black playing up here at b7. This is to cut off that horizontal line, also to work towards the vertical of black. Black can now play down at a3, a2, go for that, be able to throw this capstone to the left onto b6. That is a good play. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like that move. c7 now played from white, going for the vertical line. No tack threat currently. White would... There's really no way white can make a tack threat here. I would say if I am black, I might want to play at g2 to keep white from smashing at c3, since that's going to be the easiest way for them to get a tack threat here. I would say play at g2. Yeah, because I can't really see any other way that white is going to go about getting this vertical tack threat without smashing this. I mean, they can come over fully, but then black just drops a wall here, and that ruins that. They can come up, and then black interrupts this by dropping a wall here, moving this one over, something like that. Just really isn't a way to do it. Or black brings their own capstone over to the left, something like that. I just don't see a way for white to do it without smashing that wall. I think that's the best way to do it. Sure, afterwards c4 can come up, but it doesn't really help him too much. I think playing it at g2 is a good preemptive way to stop that. And he does. He goes for the g2 play. I think that's pretty smart. It also helps him out going for threats and protects against this horizontal line a little bit better as well. You can also use this to go horizontally down below, so that's not bad either. I mean, sure, this is sort of tough to get past, but if he brings this flat down onto d3, he can then throw it down all the way to d2 or or d1, d2, d1 to make that connection after he's played it b1, c1, something like that. So potential there. I'd say g2 is probably his best move here that I could see at least. We'll see how white responds to that. Definitely can't smash the wall at c3 now. But I would not be surprised if white were to just play at c2 and then start going for this horizontal line across here. Maybe play at a2 first and go across that way to keep black from building along this vertical line themselves. That also would not surprise me. I think a2 would be a very no-hat-esque move. I say that meaning no-hat coder would be likely to play that sort of move. Abyss also, I think. Those two players tend to make moves like that where they see... I think Abyss demonstrated a move just like that in a couple games ago. And he played a move where... Oh no, he brings the capstone over instead. But Abyss played a move where it helped his road and interrupted a future road of the other player, but in a way that... Oh, I see it. Okay, bringing this over then allows him to smash or place. Sneaky. So black probably wants to bring this over, but then white smashes that, and then, yeah. Okay, this is good for white. Sorry, my thoughts are disjointed. But no, Abyss's play that I think would have been similar to this a2 is that it would have worked towards this road in the future. Sure, it could be blocked, but it also helps block black's potential vertical threat there. Ooh, I think we're going to see a smash. I think we'll see it. Will we see the smash? It doesn't lead to a loss for black. Black still doesn't have this capstone connecting these, so that wouldn't be a road for him. So white can smash this. And even smash... Oh, doesn't he just places instead? Surprising. Now will black do f3 left to make it so smashing is a loss? I'd say f3 left is a solid move here. E2 plus, also good. E2 plus might be better, but tough to say. Again, those are moves that keep white from smashing, but then white's able to just place here at c3 on the next turn to renew that attack threat by either a smash or a placement. Ooh, white's in such a good position right now. Black is really on the back foot. White also taking a lot less time on these turns, at least in the past few turns. White down to 13 minutes on the clock, gowellja down to 8.5. That 5-minute buffer is huge. And when you think about it, they both started with 15 minutes. That's a third of the start time in between these two players in terms of time. Well, almost. Drops the wall. Yeah. I'd say that's smart. Smart play. That's how you want to do it. Now what's white's play here? What is white's play here? Now do they play at A2? Let's take a look at the flat count as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for black, plus 2 komi is 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 for white. So with the komi involved, it's 14, 14 in terms of flats. White now placing another flat at F5, taking that to 15, 14. That flat at F5 also working towards a horizontal threat and a vertical one. The horizontal one is a lot closer. Playing at G5 on the next turn would be a horizontal tag threat that can be a little hard to see because it is smashing with this D4 onto that wall of D5. Also, playing at G5 on the next turn for white would work towards going for a horizontal or vertical road as well. So I'd say that's a good position. This is a very good position there. I like it. Yeah, black is in some serious trouble right now. White is playing some really smart flat placements, just really getting those reserves down. We take a look here. Okay, black played at G5 to keep white from playing there. Good move. Black was able to spot that potential threat. White can still make a threat by making F4 minus. No, not F4 minus, sorry. E3 right. Yeah, E3 right would be that same threat, going for the horizontal, but just going a roundabout way. But we take a look at the reserves here, down probably 3 reserves, fewer than black at the moment. And it is 15-15 in terms of flat count. But again, white can renew the threat with E3 right, or white can threaten... Oh, white could play at E7 and then start going for this horizontal on the top, playing at D6 next. It would also keep black from playing at E7. Okay, plays at G6 instead, threatening this F6 stack. The F6 stack is mighty. Black still has some room to breathe, though. This is not a attack threat. But white is in charge here. Black's got to do something clever on this turn, probably, to save themselves. It might mean playing down at A2, hoping that they can get some momentum going or keep the game alive. Enough to play A3, then make their own threat and force a response from white. But that seems tenuous at best. Wishful. Even. Okay, so there was a play made, but gowellja requested an undo. I don't know if it was a misclick or what that was. He hasn't played the move yet. Maybe he just played a move that he immediately didn't like. Am I missing attack threat? I don't think I'm missing attack threat. I wonder what happened with that move. Okay, now he's playing at d6. Okay, so the d6 d6 okay, so I understand why d6. Maybe white plays at e7 next and goes for a smash on d5. Because e7 and then smash on d5. Hear me out. Smash on d5 is horizontal tack threat going along here and capturing over or capturing down. Smash on d5 is also a tack threat after e7 by throwing the capstone up to d7 to make a horizontal tack threat that way. So a couple ways to pull that off. I like that option. Gonna go for the g6 minus move, makes that tack threat. Black is gonna have to stop that some way. If they come left with this wall, I think that works. But then if they come left with the wall, will white place at g6 to go for the vertical after that point? White just has so many options, and black is just segmented. They kind of have this little bit here, this little bit here, this little bit here, whereas whites are more connected. They have more options to connect all of these together. Let's see. What can black do to respond to g6 minus? This is attack threat. They have to do something. They could potentially capture onto b6, or yeah, b6 with either b7 or b5. Probably not b5. b7. That would interrupt it, at least momentarily. They could do d5 left. Yeah, they're doing d5 left with the wall. Now, what's the play here from white? Does white smash it? Does white... Apparently white plays at e7. Ah, there's the threat. So e7 is another tack threat, throwing this capstone from d4 all the way to d7. So dropping... So 3d4 plus 111 would be a road. So black has to prevent that now. And again, that is PTN, or portable tack notation. That's what's off to the side here. How to basically transcribe moves in the simplest way possible. And there's a video on that in Tak University called PTN, or portable tack notation. And you can find playlists for all of the YouTube series, whether it be for specific tournaments or for Tak University, right there on the YouTube channel. All right, black makes a capture, d5, or sorry, not d5, d7 right onto e7. That interrupts that horizontal threat. And now it doesn't really do anything for their vertical threat at all. Black is so far on the back foot here, having to make capture after capture when white can just keep making these placements. Will white make a placement at g6? Will they make a placement down in the a2, a3 area to prevent a vertical threat from black? Will they fill in at d5? White has a lot of options that all aren't too bad. And I think black's not a fan of white having so many decent options. alion02 down to 9 minutes on the clock. Gowellja just down below 5 now. Also, Gowellja's got 3 walls on the board. alion02 has 1. And that 1 wall is kind of in the midst of their own action, but I don't think it hurts them too much. Not yet, anyway. I think it's in a good position to sort of protect their own pieces from capture wars and things like that. Black drops a wall there. So after white plays again at g6, we see the wall drop at d5 to really hammer it home. Not to make it so, not a tack threat yet, but making a capture g3 left would be a vertical tack threat. So would smashing on d3 with d4. That d4 minus smash would be that vertical tack threat. Does go for it. He makes the smash. How will black respond? Do not respond with f3 plus. That doesn't end well, I don't think. I mean, e2 minus might be a good move for it. Oh, I don't think f3 plus was the move here. That wall on g4 comes left. And then black won't be able to smash it. But I guess black can then drop a wall on g4 to stop the immediate win and also to go after g5. Oh, it might not be too bad, actually. Might not be the worst thing. White may just decide to fill in at f3 now also. Yep, they are filling in at f3. If they didn't fill in at f3, then black would be able to fill in at f3 and make a attack threat the next turn. All right, so now that white is filled in, not a attack threat for white, but still a good position. Black's got to do something to get in this game. Playing at a3, going for the vertical threat. White can now play at a2 and start their own horizontal threat this direction, and that works out for them just fine. Playing at a2 helps stop black's vertical threat and also just works for their own. So it's not really a loser at all here. gowellja down below 4 minutes on the clock. alion02 getting close to that 7.5 minute mark. Decent buffer between the two of them. alion02 has a little bit more time to think about these moves. We're getting close to this end game now. We're sort of that mid-end game area. Things are looking still pretty solid for white. It's going to be tough for black to come back from this position. I don't see why white would not play at a2. I mean, either a flat or a wall at a2, I think, is the move to make here for white. White may just be double counting their pieces to see if they can afford a wall. Let's do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 for white. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Plus 2 komi, 16, 17 for black. Black does have 1 +2 move available to them. And then white has a lot of potential with this one. Let's just say that. So I'd say it's pretty close in terms of flats, but I don't know. Even though black is technically ahead, I'd still say white is in such a good position right now, it's hard to discount that. White taking a lot of time on this turn, surprisingly. Down below 6 minutes now. Taking almost 2 minutes on this turn alone. I think actually taking over 2 minutes on this turn alone. gowellja down to just below 4 minutes still. I really don't see why. I don't see another option besides a2 that looks as good. Let's see. Yeah. Pluto the Brave in the chat saying white can also do g4 left. Because that e4 cap is pinned. Yeah, they're going for the g4 left move that Pluto was talking about. It's a good move. Black can now drop a wall, however, on g4, and that's exactly what they do. And black is going to use that to make positive flat count differential moves with g4 plus, and then make a +3 move after that with 3 g5 plus 1, 2. And that's also going to work towards a horizontal line for black. I think a2 was the move to make there. I don't like the g4 left move because it invites that wall there on g4. And I think that is a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Now white makes the a2 move. I don't know, too little too late, I think. Black is going to make some strong FCD moves. Not going to go for the g4 plus, surprisingly. I think because of the impending horizontal line here. Didn't want to give white the opportunity to make a tag threat after bringing g4, g5 plus, because then black would basically be forced to bring this wall down instead of up for a still a +2 move, but not a +3 one, which would be more devastating. So I don't know. Black is still in this. Black is still in this game. Maybe playing it b1 could work here. I say b1 because you play at b1, and then suddenly if black comes over with b2 to the left, you can go b1 left and mess up that line. Also, playing at b1 helps work towards this same horizontal line, but instead they decide to play up at a7, and a7 is so they can come across and cut off b7, which is the most isolated of that whole line, and I think that's a smart play there. Really smart play. Cut that off. Now black's made a attack threat. White can now cut off b7, capturing with either c7 or a7. That'll work just fine. Maybe even b6 plus. What are we going to see here? I can't imagine after playing a7 that white's not going to capture onto b7 here. Yeah, does so with the a7. Is black maybe going to play a wall at a7? Try and regain some flats? And renew the attack threat? No, going to play at b2. Looks like going... Oh, b2 to sort of protect that a2 flat. That makes sense too. I think white might want to just keep dropping some flats now and just stay ahead in terms of the flat game, or try to get ahead in terms of the flat game. But black is going to be free to make that g4 plus move soon and go for those tack threats, or not tack threats, but FCD moves. Black has come back a lot in terms of positioning. I thought it was really, really far away from black being really in the game, but they have definitely come back quite a bit in the last few turns. So well played to gowellja on this one for sure, for coming back from this really, really tough positioning. And now if we take a look at the time, alion02 down just to 2 minutes, gowellja up at 4. Also, we see white playing up at d7. Looks like they might be potentially making a play for this horizontal line up at the top again. Black now playing that wall at a7 as I expected. Gonna go for that capture onto b7 and make those positive flank on differential moves, and potentially renew that tack threat from earlier. However, if white makes maybe a capture on e7, then black wouldn't be able to make that move, but they would be able to make a different one. Potentially more devastating. Who knows? It's a tough position here. We're getting down to the end game. It's definitely in the end game right now, and every flat count differential move counts. Oh, 3d3 plus. Brings that capstone up. This is not a tack threat. What is the play here? Maybe to come across left onto b4? Or maybe leave a black behind on c4 and then cover white on b4 and a4. That might be what they're going for here as well. Tough to say. This is definitely coming down to the wire here. Wall down at b1 to stop this tack threat from happening once this move is made. I don't know if black's going to go for that over an FCD move. I think probably the tack threat's more important here. Black filling in first, saying, yeah, go for that A2 stack. I'm going to be able to renew here in short order. So I like that. That's a bold play here. We do see the B1 left. Are we going to see a B1 fill here for black? I definitely forgot to unmute myself, but now we just saw this whole stack come over to the right. Now this is gonna be a really strong move here, able to bring this whole stack up for a +3 move and basically destroy all of black's vertical threat in this direction. That is gonna be brutal, absolutely brutal. Also, I just noticed that if black were to smash prematurely now, it would give white a road. White would be able to smash onto d5 with e5, and I think that's why this capstone came up onto d4. It was specifically to prevent this capstone from coming left before they had attack threat. So I think that was a very smart move here. Now white is building along for this road, building at a2 after black plays at a1. This allows white to play here at c2 on the next turn and create a horizontal attack threat. White is definitely commanding this game now. I think it's going to be basically a miracle for black to come back from this. Will we see a white at c1 maybe? Let's take a look at the flat count real quick. 2 minutes on the clock for white, 3 minutes for black. 1, 2, 3, 4. 18 for white. 18 for black. So even in terms of flat count, we are going to see the c1 drop here from white. Black comes over with a wall. White fills in. Still even in terms of flat count. Black comes down, finally moving this capstone. I don't think this capstone has moved the entire game. I believe that was where it was first placed. Has not moved until turn 48. Capstone finally moves now. Are we going to see white place a flat right here at e4? That would be a tack threat. A flat at e4 would be another vertical tack threat, or bringing over this stack, but I don't think that's going to happen because of these walls here. Placing at e4 helps reduce the reserves, also creates this vertical tack threat with a d2 left, or a c1 plus, or a 4b2 right 1 3. And they do that. They fill in with e4. Haha, I said doo-doo. So the e4 was placed. Vertical tack threat. Black's got to stop that somehow. Maybe with c2 plus? b3 right. Can't move this wall. Ooh, missed it. He missed the road threat. So black goes for the self smash here to try and stop what's happening, even though probably just didn't see that this was a vertical threat already. Goes for the self smash, trying to do some desperation moves here. Didn't quite work out because this is, again, with d2 left, a road. And white takes it. Super, super well played to both players. Congratulations to alion02 for winning this game. Really well played, gowellja. I thought you were out of it for a long time, but then you really started to come back strong. And it just a little misplay here at the end, and you lost it, unfortunately. But really, really well played to both players. So really glad I got to watch that game. Really strong tack there. So thanks, everybody, for watching, for hanging out. Be sure to check out the description below for all things tack, especially the tack Discord, which is where you can find tons and tons of resources. Additionally, tons of people to play with, whether that be on playtak.com, just like this, or in the Discord itself, playing asynchronously or correspondence games to play with folks in there. You can play just a couple minutes a day, just one move a day if you want to. It's fantastic. I've been doing it the last few days and it's really fun. Additionally, that's where we organize all these tournaments. Right there in the Discord, you can join in those and have a lot of fun with that. So thanks everybody for watching, and until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.